Jackie Laurie Kilmartin.
Begin recording.
Well, I'm slightly buzzed, Jackie. I'm drinking my mom's vodka martini, a recipe, which is half equal parts vodka and water with 2 olives, one to be eaten tonight, one to be soaked all night and then saved for tomorrow. And then behind me is her picture. She was my background. So I was like standing like this during a lot of it. So you could kind of look like we were sitting together.
Wow.
But it's cool. We had like 60 people show up, 3 pages. I've done smaller shows on Zoom. And it was like people from my mom's side of the family and my dad's side of the family and the swim team and her preschool that she taught at, and then people from my son's life that knew her, and my best friend Cheryl did a video. She made a compilation video to the song Joanne, and it was so good. It was really great.
Aww.
So it was cool.
How long has Cheryl known your mom?
Maybe, I don't know, 20 years or something.
Were they pretty good? They would go to lunch sometimes, right?
Yeah. Like I have this recording. I think I told you I listened to it a couple times now. It's like an hour and a half long, where it was on my mom's 80th birthday. Cheryl and I and my mom went to Madeline's in Pasadena, and it's just like an hour and a half of pitter patter and talking, but all that stuff where it's people don't know you're recording, probably illegal, but they're their normal selves, and all their tics as a person come out, and it's like, oh yeah, she did that, and she used to breathe like that and make that noise, and
right.
When you're pointing a camera at somebody and they know they're on video and they're trying to be their best. So
right.
Anyway,
it is true. Well, that's great. Mm-hmm. Was it? That sounds very sweet. And
and it was one of our listeners is a pastor, and he sort of ran it, so that was really cool.
Wow.
Yeah, Pastor Jason, and
that's neat.
So he did a Bible reading up front and nothing too Jesusy, and then hung out, and then at the end it was like an hour and a half long. People just kept chiming in with little stories and stuff, and then at the end he did an Irish blessing, a Gaelic blessing, and then we stayed on for like 20 more minutes. But people then started dropping out and everything. But it was just really cool, and I saw 2 doves in front of my window right before it started, 2 mourning doves, and before then, after my dad died, it was sort of the thing, like we'd see a solo mourning dove and we'd go, that's Dad. And then when my mom was dying, I saw one looking at me from the kitchen window, and Marvin Gaye's What's Going On was playing. It was really surreal. And because I wasn't expecting anything like that, and it was going right to my heart. And then when I looked out the window, there were 2 of them. So that was cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
That is outstanding. You were hilarious today before the funeral. Just so you know.
Thank you. It was a quick set. I wanted to get a set in so that no one could accuse me of being weak and not performing the day of my mother's funeral, because a lot of comics are weak like that, but not me. Not me. I did a 5-er. And had it been in person, I would have done 5 of flappers and then gone to her funeral.
Let me tell you something. You did 10, and that's interesting because I did a show the other night, and Alonzo ran the light a little bit. So it was just like a real club. And it's not that Alonzo, I don't know that he runs the light a lot. I don't know that. But
you know what? It's time to start a Twitter feud with Alonzo. So I'm glad you're doing it. I'm excited.
No time like the present. Who's got some solo time?
How did you did 2 sets today, right? 2 hours or something, 2 40s?
Yeah, I did do two 45-minute sets, and I'll tell you.
Oh my God.
I got off stage. I got out of the garage, and I said to Andy, I actually feel like I've done enough stand-up for the first time in a long time. It was like this one day feels full. I feel like I'm a comic, and which is good because
Yeah.
I did just last Saturday. That was the last show I did, and then I was just talking to Carmen, and Carmen had an amazing. It was Alonzo Bowden and Deb DiGiovanni,
Oh my God.
and you know she gets
Murderers.
these crazy lineups, and she was like, "Well, do you want a guest set?" And I said, "Yeah, I do."
Hold on for a sec. I have to hang up on somebody. I thought Just a second.
If you could hang up on somebody real quick. Hi, Joanne.
Right?
Look at that, just the
Hey,
background.
Mrs. Kelly, can I call you back later?
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Is Mrs. Kelly Irish?
Okay, sorry. That's my mom's best friend.
Yeah, do you think she's Irish, Mrs. Kelly?
A little bit. So what happened? So go back.
No, so I got a guest set on Friday. Did you do any other sets this week?
I don't remember. I think
Fair
I
enough.
might have done something.
Yeah, it's been a big week because you had to organize this thing too, right?
Just calling everybody. There's a little tech support with
Right.
like someone had, there's 80-year-olds, right? And
Yeah.
so someone had to download Zoom, and I'm walking them through that, and but it worked, and then everyone else kind of figured it out, and I recorded it so that the people that went could watch it if they missed parts of it. And,
Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
yeah, it was okay. It wasn't. It was a lot of. It's just a lot of contacting people I hadn't talked to and telling them my mom had died and why and all that stuff, and that's all. It's always a tough conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. So, I saw you the other day. I came over to the house, brought over some more condolence cards. Yep.
Thank you.
Got
I
to
love my
pet.
condolence cards.
That's
I have,
very
like, a
sweet
big
of
pile.
our fans, isn't it?
I know. Yes, they're great.
And then I got to pet the dog and play with the dog.
Yes.
Super cute. You got the dog with you? Is the dog around?
The dog is somewhere. Here's the thing. I closed the fence off for my house, and I put in puppy doors in the front door and the back door. So now the dog can roam the entire house and go out front. I don't have to worry about her. So I don't know where she is, and I don't give a fuck. You know what? As long as you don't shit in the house, I don't care.
See the world, Charmy. See the world. You can front door, back door, front door, back door.
Oh yeah,
Is she
she's like
house
me in
trained?
college, folks. Come on now. Jackie, I just did a fucking dick joke. She kind of, she
She's figuring it out?
Yeah, I do have that UV light that it shows you where pee spots are, and there's a few, but they might be early ones I hadn't noticed before.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah. So, yeah, that's
No, wait. So you did 40 clean and 40 filthy, right?
yeah. Okay. Yeah, we could talk about that. That's
Please, it's a comedy podcast.
well. I could, but I feel insensitive. Who doesn't
No,
want?
you don't. You've never felt insensitive in your life. That's you
That's
just
right.
feeling.
Wow, those are just emotions. I have a superpower, and it's me feeling what? No. Anyway, so I will say this is that the clean set, which was the set you were on that show doing a guestie, and Kyle was on the not clean set doing a guestie, and then Brandy Brown was on your show, and Maggie May was on his show, and all four of you freaking destroyed and got good tips, I hope. And
How many audience members on the clean versus dirty?
there were little like 62. There were like 60 for the first show and 55 for the second show.
Any overlap, do you think?
Almost entirely.
No, really?
Yeah.
Wow. So they watched you, then they took an hour and a half to themselves, and then they came back for more.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's an intense relationship with you, Jackie.
It feels like it felt intense. But here was the good news. I didn't feel bad about it because I was doing a different 40.
Sure.
Right? Like I didn't. I was next weekend. I'm gonna feel bad because it's gonna be those same 60 people maybe. And
Call that show 2 New Tags.
Are we going to ignore the part where you celebrated by screaming, "Everyone show me your dogs," and spent 15 minutes having the audience bring their dogs to the webcam for Jackie's approval?
I just want to look at your pets. That's just nice.
Is that part of the 40?
I knew you were going to fucking ask that.
Because if it is, then I don't feel so bad about myself. If your 40 is all material, I'm like, don't even want to do a podcast with you anymore. But if it's like 25 plus, a poodle, fuck
This
you.
is literally the most insulted that I've ever felt right sitting here. No, this is the after. This is it's right. This is the VIP that you get to. I get to hang out. And if you wanted to ask me a question, I'll tell you something. I've doing these. That gender joke that I do. Inspires people to write me long emails about their own gender identity and what I'm trying to say. And they like to let me in on what I'm trying to say.
Right.
And but the thing is, all of it has helped. Some of it, when you get an email and you're like, I don't care what you think, and then you read it and you're like, oh, there's something there. It's like the difference between writing the first draft and the second draft. I don't want the feedback, but the second draft's going to be better.
It depends on the topic. Like if it's a topic about your feeling about something, then it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks, right? But if you're talking about someone else's potential life, like I feel like that with my trans bit. It's like, this isn't my life. I'm just sort of projecting this one little point of view into it from my point of view. But someone told me, like I had a joke and someone was like, actually, technically, da 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 da. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't want to be technically off on something because I don't understand it. Right. And I don't want that and it's not that important for the joke. So I either drop that joke or I change, manipulate it a little bit. And I'm fine with that. But if I just remember I had some bit about it was before I got pregnant, and I was like, it was an adoption joke. But listen, I heard from a woman who was adopted after the show, and she wasn't happy with it. And and I didn't feel any obligation. She was also rude, but I didn't feel any obligation to change that joke because I'm like, this is completely my point of view as a woman who it doesn't have a child and is wondering if I should have one, right? And it's not about you. And I'm sorry I touched off something in you, and I understand it's a sensitive topic, but okay. Now, another bit I had where I was saying the N-word, part of the bit, and a Black woman afterwards came up and said, this is why I had a problem with that. I felt like, okay, I don't want my audience to feel like this. Mm-hmm. This joke isn't that important. Maybe I was just trying something to be daring, or because I'm in New York and everyone talks about race and I wanted to be one of the guys. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't need that, and that's fine. So but it really depends on the topic that you're talking about and how you personally relate to it or not. If you're just dabbling and wondering about somebody else's life, somebody else's race, somebody else's whatever it is, then I think feedback from the people that live that life is valuable. But if it's your own feelings about something that's more about you, emanating from you and not emanating from someone else's life, then you're free to tell someone to fuck off.
Right. Well, and the thing is it is entirely my experience, and these are personal stories about what I think about these two words, but there are technicalities that I've had to adjust. I've been working on this bit, and of course it was just the one bit, and now it is of course 6 bits, because that's how I write. And so there's 6 different things, and so trying to intersect the because it's the idea of sexuality and gender, and people don't want me to muddy those two things, and yet, right, and I agree. Once it was pointed out to me that they are enormously separate, and I can separate them because I can separate them in my own experience, like what my gender is versus my sexuality, and what each of those things mean, and the weird thing is like I've had a lot of people, as many people as have given me, sort of technical details, paragraphs and paragraphs of it. I've also gotten paragraphs and paragraphs of, this is really cool that anyone's talking about this at all. So, which is nice.
Right, yeah.
I'm getting both, and in both cases, it's not super negative feedback. I'm only taking it negative because I'm wrong in some cases, and there has to be adjustment. And the joke itself is so sort of complicated and so big that it just, it's like, it's literally, I have to shave off a tiny edge of something to make it fit better with the rest of the bit and also still make sense, right? So if it's not making sense to somebody, for most cases, I need it to make sense. Sometimes I'm willing to power through. My joke about Yugoslavia, I could give a shit if anybody cared. I had a mall of America.
Oh, you heard from the Serbs. I remember when they came and picketed your show.
By the time that joke worked, there was no more Yugoslav. And it was a journey of itself. But I will say this, is that before I introduced anybody in that first show, I read the Laugh USA criteria of what.
The clean show, you're trying to get it on Laugh USA,
right? So
you get that money, and their criteria is astonishing.
It is super intense, right. Because and that's why they can't find. That's why you hear the same 6 jokes on that channel, is because it's so strict. And it's interesting to me because you can't, it's not just, and whoever wrote this, of course, had the time of their lives saying all the terrible words. And including, like not just the N-word, but like a giant, like a whole row of racial slurs, just to make sure I knew which racial slurs.
Wow.
I was like, how about I don't use any? How about that? And
well, I want to know the comic that made everyone go, "Oh fuck, we got to put that one on."
Yeah, exactly.
We got to add that word. But the Nick DiPaolo.
The Nick DiPaolo is in that's in the thing.
Read the rule.
Funny. Wait. It said. Where is the reference to Nick DiPaolo? Come on, buddy. The thing is 4 sentences long. A generally upbeat, fun tone, no Nick DiPaolo style. Even if it's clean.
Uncool.
Always keep tone in mind.
Come on. What the fuck? Come on. You want to hear clean Nick DiPaolo?
They wouldn't even let
DiPaolo?
Laurie in.
Come on.
That's what you're looking for? You're looking... you would pay money to
No,
hear
thank you.
Yeah.
I'll just lose that income.
Oh, that's so funny.
It's so arbitrary and... I don't know.
Well, this isn't arbitrary. This is enormously specific.
I know, but then what is Nick DiPaolo style? Like, who? What is that? A Boston accent or? You know what I mean? Like,
no, because that's racial.
Boston accent?
No, it's regional.
Yes.
But it's. I mean, I think that it is a gross generalization. You are correct, but it is a gross generalization that everyone hears it and goes, "Oh, I know what they mean."
Yeah. That's true. Poor Nick. Oh well.
Yes. Let's have a moment of silence for Nick. What? Oh, I have a benefit I'm doing on Saturday.
Right.
And then I'm going to try to do this thing again. Because I did 45 clean. Mm-hmm. My one joke, it said that I couldn't use holy words. It was literally a derogatory use of holy names or religious words. I don't know if my talk about the rapture is derogatory.
Listen, this funeral wouldn't work for Laugh USA. That's how strict this shit is.
Right, Ryan Hamilton, he's just going to be making money hand over fist. That guy's very funny.
If you can stand writing clean jokes, you'll make a lot of money.
Sure, but then I did the rest of my act, right?
Yeah.
So I did that 45, and then
Yeah.
I did another. And the thing is, I could stick that rapture joke on the front of the not squeaky clean, and that'd be fine too. It's a pretty good introductory since I did the cock ring joke on the beginning of my second act.
Sure.
And that cock ring reference isn't even that dirty. It just has the word cock ring in it. Is that one word? That's two words.
You know what? You're not talking to the expert over here.
Me neither.
Would have been great if you had a take, though.
The first time I told that story, it was on Zoom, and early on, and I mentioned that I didn't even know what the hell it was for, and Carmen Morales who was opening, could not stop laughing. He was like, "What are you saying?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know. All the cocks I know are erect or as long as they're erect. They don't need to. It's a splint? What the fuck is it? I don't know.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to break the word down. It's a ring that goes around an erect penis.
Exactly.
Okay. Why is this our podcast right now?
Well,
because we need more Patreons? Yes, let's do it. Come down.
It's a clock eater. It's a cock eater. Wait,
wait, that's
there
you.
You go. That's
Now,
what just happened.
I don't
Okay.
know.
So,
I'm
anyway, so
grieving.
that
I just like to point out that these riffs are all tainted by. I'm sorry to use the word taint, but they're all.
tain't none of my concern, lady. Tain't none of my
Can this
concern.
please be when we go to the first Max Fun break?
Yes. 21:15, and we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Did you get that Max? The good Max Fun.
Okay. What the fuck now? I hate that we're in the same profession as who I'm thinking now are some of the dumbest people in the world. I hate that I'm a comic and somebody who goes to Texas, which is having a terrible outbreak of COVID, does shows and fucking fist bumps the audience after the show.
And then gets COVID.
Gets COVID and has to say to his audience, if I fist bumped you and you live with someone elderly, it's like, what the fuck? And it's like, oh, I didn't think about it. Oh, of course. Oh, I'm so dumb. Yeah. It's shocking to me. I can't believe.
Do we know, it was DK, right?
DK?
No.
You're thinking DL Hughley?
I'm thinking, yeah, where did the K
No, yeah,
come
it's a
from?
different COVID.
DL Hughley has COVID, and now this guy Callen?
Brian Callen.
Brian Callen has COVID?
Oh, you didn't hear this?
Oh, I
Brian
just heard
Callen,
this.
Brandon Schaub, the MMA,
Yeah.
the
Comic?
kickboxing comedy guy.
He has it too?
Yeah. And I guess they gave it to another comic, local guy maybe, who was a cancer survivor, and now he has an actual really bad case of COVID.
Oh,
That's a comorbidity. Not that I'm a doctor, but I've read enough Atlantic articles now at this point. That puts that guy in a lot of danger, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, even if you recover, you might not, recover completely. You might have lifelong problems, And I mean, I'm sorry, there's no excuse for not knowing that now. There's just none. You can't be that dumb right now. It's not allowed. Fucking smarten up a little bit,
Yeah. Yeah, and if you're that dumb and you went to that comedy club, that's just, it's ridiculous. It's so 4 comics have it. And April Macy and Nikki Glazer were both on the road this weekend. Kansas City and Wise Guys in Salt Lake. And
I would be so afraid to fly, and it's just, who the fuck are you around? What kind of animals come to a comedy club right now? You know what I mean?
I know. This is, I get the income thing. Oh, I get it.
Yes.
But and you can call me a coward and fuck off. But I don't want, both of those decisions seem wrong from a comedic point, right? I feel like if I go, I'm an idiot, and I'm possibly hurting other people. If I don't go, I'm a coward and I'm an idiot. And I guess I would rather be a coward and an idiot and not make anyone, I'm going to not make anyone sick this year.
Well, Shane Mouse had a good point too, or Moss. I don't.
Yeah.
M-A, isn't it Mouse technically?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
But he's from, I mean, he's from La Crosse,
Okay. Whatever.
Wisconsin.
Jackie, I've studied German on Duolingo. I think I know what I'm talking about.
Shane Moss.
Mouse. But he made a good point is if this happens a couple times and audiences start getting COVID and somehow Brian Callen contributed to somebody dying of COVID, why would people come to a comedy club at all across the country, right? That's going to make audience members skittish and harder for the rest of us to get back when things, and this might be, and it might be years from now. I mean, that's what's the other thing. Like, since no one seems to be able to control themselves when things lighten up a little bit, when things open up a little bit, it's just, like there's this article where somebody made this comment like a couple weeks ago. It was like, we're all in a jumbo jet and we lost gas and we're just cruising right now, right? But we're about to crash into the side of a mountain, right? So with the cruising part, it's like, well, everyone's alive and everything seems okay, but we're all about to collide into a mountain, and it feels like we're really close to the mountain right now.
I have to say that going back to stand-up comedy, so there was an article in the New York Times about Maria, and a guy who had and it was her Zoom show from Rush Tickets that I opened for her. 2,700, by the way. That's what she. That's how many tickets she sold.
Amazing.
And yeah, and but the crazy thing is that in that article, I couldn't read the whole article because I couldn't care enough. But I was hoping when I would bring this into the conversation that you had read the article. No?
Is it new?
Well, the last week, because it was about Maria and this guy, and he has a new album out on Blonde Medicine, and I can't tell, but I think he recorded the album on Zoom.
Interesting.
So his name is like Nori.
Wait. I'm just bringing it up now. Nori. Fuck. I unsubscribed to the New York Times in a fit of anger, and now I can't read out.
That'll show.
Nori Reed?
Maybe. But it's with Blonde Medicine, which is Dominic Del Bene, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
It's a great label. And they were talking about how he had worked on the album online.
Nori Davis?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. Yeah.
But I can't tell if he recorded it before and it's just been in post-production and now released, or if they recorded it in Zoom and they've released it.
Oh, I don't know. He's very funny.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Maybe you should have finished reading that article, Jackie.
No, I was really hoping that you had done it.
Needs to come out on the Washington Post. I'm so pissed at the Times.
Yeah. So I finished the first third of this comic book that I'm writing, and it's just sort of it's about what I've done is I've taken some superheroes and I've given them corporate gigs. And so I was trying to find the corporate gig, and there's a great through line, and there's a good comic book story to it. But I was trying to do the first gig, and Andy was like, "Well, what was the worst corporate gig you ever did?" And I was just reminded that one time Louis Lee of Acme Comedy Company in 1993 or 94 max sent me out to a birthday party of the boss of some small business where I had to dress as a nun. And the thing about me is that if you put this body in a nun and you are scared or have traumatic memories of nuns, I'm going to look exactly like a fucking nun. And they were like, okay, he hates nuns. It's going to be so funny.
Oh, no.
I didn't do my act. I just dressed as in a nun outfit with a ruler, and then I had to yell his name. And they were like, he does this shit to us all the time. He's gonna think it's so funny, but he hates nuns. So just say a bunch of weird nun stuff. And I was like, yeah, are you sure he likes this? And they're like, oh, it's gonna be great. He's a ball buster, but he's really gonna be into it. So I show up. I'm all hidden. I walk in. He's sitting there, and he freaks the fuck out. And I get like 3 lines out, and he's like, get the fuck out of here. And
nun? Oh, my God.
Yeah. He clearly had trauma with a damn nun. Mm-hmm. And I was just there's not always, part of the solution.
There's that early part of your career where somebody has a corporate and they have a terrible idea and you don't have the ability to say no to it. So you're like, okay, you come in and you're gonna be the corporate manager from Tucson, and it's like, I'm not an actor, I am not an improv person, but you just do it and it never works. It's always a bad idea. Getting comedy ideas from corporations is a terrible idea. But at some point you're able to say, no, I think this is what will work better. You give me a microphone, and after dinner, after people finish eating, I will tell jokes for 30 minutes. I think that's better. My experience.
Right. And it was weirdly in like kind of a Ruth Chris kind of situation. And so they all had like their plates were, it's all such a terrible. I'm surprised he didn't pick up a bread roll and whip it at me.
Wow. Way to bring back my trauma from San Antonio.
Oh, right. Oh,
yeah, I thought you referenced that. It was a roll, yeah.
Yeah, it was a bread roll.
Yeah, San Antonio is the town where the club gave people COVID, perhaps.
Right, wasn't that Callan? Wasn't that
Yeah, it was at LOL. The good thing about LOL is it's got a really high ceiling, so hopefully the COVID went up in the air, audience.
Right, and hopefully it was, because it also seats about 350, 400 people. It's huge. And so hopefully, but if I remember correctly, all of those kind of, I don't know what to.
Boxy comedy clubs, or what do you mean?
No. I'm thinking of his fan base. It's kind of a Rogan-y kind of guy.
Yeah, I think he's part of the empire.
He probably sold out.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So that's.
Yeah.
Did you hear that they're not letting? And this is so moot. It doesn't even matter. They're not letting people sell merch. They're not letting. You can't.
Oh man, clubs fucking love this. Oh yeah, they hate us selling merch. They hate us making any more money that they don't get a little piece of. Oh, this is every club's wet dream is no merch.
Well, the clubs they ask for a cut of the merch money.
Yeah.
I never sell at those clubs, and there's a couple of them that do. They're like, "Well, you're using our space," and I was like, "Yeah, because if I get one of the door guys to stand next to me, and sort of move people along and sort of direct people, I'll give that guy, I'll tip that guy out.
Yeah.
But if they're not, because I like to sell the stuff myself just because I can do it faster, and it's also gives me somewhere to hide. You can hide a little bit behind the table, and I want to meet. It's not that I don't want to meet the fan base. It's just I get a little twitchy if it's just meeting. Yeah. And so I like a task.
Okay.
Yeah. And I made masks today. Somebody wanted a meat shield, the Jenny Fine White Lady meat shield, on a mask.
So you ordered them from a company?
Drop ship, doing TeePublic, which means that they're just going to fulfill it.
Oh, cool.
Jen Kirkman had it.
I know. I bought 4 of hers.
Okay. Yeah.
No, I think she has one that says, "Where's yours?" I bought 4 of those.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I special ordered for myself. My mom died of COVID, and all I got was a stupid mask.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you get 10 days, they say 10 to 20 days on those masks.
Oh, I thought you meant on COVID shedding. Okay.
No, I don't have any. I don't have any answers for you. I'm so sorry. Did you guys? I live in the most blue collar neighborhood, though I did see drones of everything the 4th of July.
I thought it was so cool looking. I loved it. Everyone's complaining about it. And at 9 o'clock, they're all, "I can't sleep." Hey, you fucking assholes! You used to do shows at midnight. Now you can't sleep at 9. What happened to you? God damn it!
Did you? I mean, we had people like right. I mean, literally, we were being bombed around us. Like, I mean, there was the right behind us and right in front of us.
Yep.
One less than a block in both directions. So it was like being in Iraq. It reminded me of being in Iraq.
Yeah.
And it was, and all I could think was, our house is going to burn down, and this is going to how it's going to happen because shitty people are putting off city fireworks and they don't know what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
But
I mean, sure.
I mean, so
I
it was a
probably would have
little
the same worries
nerve-wracking,
had.
but
Yeah.
but you don't live in a neighborhood where anyone is shooting. You don't live in, let's call it a, how do I put this politely? White trash? No, it's
I don't know. I would call it a fun neighborhood is where you live. That's what I call it, but that's not how you see it, I guess.
I actually refer to it as a very blue-collar neighborhood, and I love it dearly. But I don't love it on the 4th of July, which is always terrifying and
I
always
live in-
super loud.
So I would say a quote good school district. That's the neighborhood, and those are always the worst bores in terms of firecrackers and stuff like that, fireworks.
You live in a good school district?
Yeah, if it's a good school district, then nobody does anything fun. Nobody has chickens. All pets are dogs or cats. Nobody goes rogue. Nobody has a fucking dragon or whatever the fuck you guys had in your garage.
Wow, it really got personal right there. It just felt like a little.
It was a compliment. Every word a compliment, Jackie. Every word a compliment.
Let's do the comic of the week, shall we? Anna Jean was how she pronounced it, and I have seen 2 videos of her being introduced as Anna Jean.
Yeah.
So Anna Jean, and her Twitter is Anna Jean Jokes. Is
Yes.
that what it is?
Jokes.
Jokes. Anna Jean Jokes. She was very funny. She had a really.
Is she LA based or
She
New
is
York?
now, yeah.
Okay,
She was out of New York and then is now here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So at Anna Jean Jokes.
Yeah. Very funny.
Woo!
Very funny.
fan.
The clip I saw was from Flappers. We're doing
Okay.
another. So find her and follow her and work with her.
Do
By
it.
the way, to explain you guys we had a big discussion on the pronunciation of Jean. My dad's real middle name was Jean, Jean. And my grandma apparently, living in Topeka had aspirations of a European lifestyle. And my dad hated it. And he changed it to Francis.
Wait, he changed his middle name legally?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's
It's
some
the most
gutsy stuff.
Irish thing you could think of.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Can I?
She stepped out, right? She stepped out of line. Because his brother was John Francis, his dad was John Francis, his grandpa was William Francis. It's a whole line of Irish guys, middle name Francis, and then he comes along, Ronald Jean. Oh, he was pissed. So he ended that fast.
My dad changed his own name, not legally. That's how he signed up for the Navy. And because he had like a very Armenian immigrant, his name was like Yelia
Okay.
with a Y, and like his high school yearbook. It's Yelia, don't go changing, or whatever the fuck you write in a yearbook.
Yeah.
And so he enlisted, and he's like, my name's Elliot. 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 And no middle name. So.
I think Elliot suits your dad.
Oh, it sure does. I just talked to him, and he has figured out flappers. It's like he's discovered the pool of Narcissus that the rest of us have been staring at for the last 10 years.
Facebook, not Flappers.
That's right. Facebook. And so like
But I feel like Flappers is next for your dad. I feel like he's gonna.
He
be
did do
hosting
an
us.
open mic once. He did one
my
open
God.
mic once, and
Yeah.
as Nancy Cation said, he wasn't that great. And he was like, he's funny, but it wasn't for the stage funny. And I was like, wow, that's harsh for the first time up. We have a show coming at Flappers.
Right.
On the 27th, which is a Monday.
Right.
It's another Jackie and Laurie Comic of the Week.
By the way, I appreciate you emailing me 7 times today while I was preparing for my mother's funeral, trying to figure out a lineup. I'm like, Jackie, give it a day. Give it a fucking day. Can I just bury this lady, please?
I am just going to pretend that is accurate.
I'll fucking show you my inbox.
What I would like is the receipts.
Screenshots.
Because I believe all I did was, because I asked Ophira Eisenberg and I asked Aaron Jackson if they would do it, and they both said yes, and I just CC'd you on that. And I don't know why you're reading.
Harassing me.
I don't understand why you're reading your emails when your mother has not yet been treated with the respect that she deserves.
We did get her ashes this week.
Yeah, I saw the picture.
Yeah.
Chilling, by the way. The tweets
Was
are
it?
incredibly dark. It's just like, see this? Fucking wear a mask is what you might as well just say.
Before and after. We're heading into another 3-day weekend. One of you motherfuckers is going to kill someone's mom.
Happy
just
4th.
like someone did to me. But she got Tammy Jo Deeren hooked me up with this mortician, and I think she's like a one-woman shop. She's really cool, and she just opened her business in January. I'm like, you're a fucking genius, because this country's everyone's gonna die soon. Amazing. Mad props to you. In Los Angeles, opening a
crematorium.
Yeah, basically.
Mm-hmm,
And then she got 2 locks on my mom's hair, one for me and one for my sister. And, she goes, I got some good locks. And she did nice, thick curls. My mom's, because my mom had core hair, she didn't get to go to her lady at Great Clips.
$17 haircut that she never got. Okay.
Right. Her hair was longer and curly. So I called that woman up and I told her, and she started crying.
Aww.
So when we get a hold of my mom's money, I'm going to tip her, because I know my mom's the type will tip like $2 and feels like it's $100, like it hurts her, So I'm going to find that lady and tip her.
Yeah, find that lady.
Because I go, Joanne Kilmer, and she goes, oh, the diarrhea. I'm like, oh my God.
Wow.
He told you about all that. Like, you had to, while you're cutting this lady's hair, for a $2 tip, you had to hear about diarrhea. Not enough.
Yeah.
You deserve more, my friend. So.
That is quite holy. How about another Max Fun Break?
Let's do it. What are we looking at on your clock, Jackie?
I got 10 seconds. I don't know. It's, I have to say that I want this to be over. I wouldn't mind.
I don't know what you mean, but I agree. Like, I want everything to be over.
Kind of, yeah.
All of it.
I remember my dad telling me, and I doubt he remembers telling me this, is he said, when you're in your 30s and your 40s, or wait, when you're in your 20s and your 30s, you want to kill yourself, and when you're in your 40s and your 50s, you're not willing to kill yourself, but you're willing to die, because then you wouldn't have to finish that thing. And then
I have to disagree with this assessment, but keep going.
And then he thinks 60 and above, he's just like, everyone's like, I just want to live one more year.
Oh, I think 70 and over, those people they're clinging on to every year. I think our age right now is actually pretty dangerous in terms of suicide. There are a lot of people in their 40s and 50s and
Killing
60s
themselves?
too that are killing themselves. Yeah, it's more men, more white men than women, but it's
Do you think that I saw your
suicide rate.
tweet? Do you think that that pedophile lady's going to kill herself?
No.
No. Do you think she's going to be assisted to kill herself? What's
I
going
don't
to
think
happen?
so. I think she's going to talk hard. I do.
That's what they said about Epstein, and
I don't
that
know.
guy sadly killed
Killed
himself.
himself.
Poor thing. Poor thing. And
Can I just be contrarian and say he might have, because he knew it was over. He was at, I think was he at Rikers? Whatever prison he was in was fucking full of rats and shit. And this is a guy who'd lived in all these different places and had all of his whims and catered to, and now it's over. And it's possible that he was like, I'm not going to do it. I won't. I refuse.
I could have sworn Lori wanted less emails, she said.
In the 11th hour, I don't care.
I don't care either.
I'm just
If he was
glad
murdered,
he's
I
dead.
think no, but I'm not, because he shouldn't have been allowed to kill himself, or he shouldn't have been allowed to be murdered. Like he should have been properly guarded. It's a huge fiasco. But and he should have stood trial, and he should have brought down people if they deserved it. And though now women and young girls that he raped should have been able to accuse him on the stand and see him be convicted. So.
Sure, if I would have thought that out, that's probably what I would have said too. But in
Jackie,
the
I used
11th,
2 more minutes of podcast time to
you're doing some vital work here, and I genuinely appreciate it. It's I don't know. Let's see. I socially distantly ate an Impossible Burger with Augie Smith and his wife yesterday,
Oh, cool.
and Andy brought the kids over a couple of Hot Wheels, and we talked. We shouted at each other through masks, and it was terrifying for 2 hours. Even though I'm pretty sure they're as quarantined as you can be. Those two.
Yeah, I went to my friend Cheryl's, and we had been working outdoors before, but we worked indoors. But she's totally quarantined. We were wearing masks, and we were on opposite ends of the table, but we were working on my mom's video. So
Oh, okay. Nice.
I hope that wasn't dumb.
Yeah. I don't know. We've also been driving up once a week to see Andy's mom
Mm-hmm.
and sitting in her backyard.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping, she is older. She's certainly older than Andy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that's how parenthood works.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Unless you're Matt Gates and his.
Did you
son
watch
Esther.
Hamilton?
I didn't. I have not watched Hamilton yet. I've seen it twice, of course. And then there's all this. Isn't it weird where you're like, oh, I'm very set in this opinion, and then you read a lot of tweets and people are like, Hamilton sucks, and here's why. It's like, what, really? Oh my god! And then I don't know. So now I have a different viewfinder to watch Hamilton through when I do see it. But I do remember loving it both times.
Well, I have to, the crazy thing is I remember when because I saw the workshop, sort of the first song that he did for Michelle and Barack Obama at a White House thing, and that is on YouTube, and I must have watched that 30 times.
Right.
Because one of my favorite things is because you know that the Obamas and most presidents, current excused, have sat through politely watching so much art and music and entertainment with this sort of and you if you watch it, Michelle Obama has that smile on her face.
The glazed smile.
The smile that she knows she's
Yeah.
being filmed and she's
Yeah.
watching something. It's good. And then as he does the song, as he goes through the song,
Which song was it? Do you remember?
it's the first one. It's the
Okay.
first. How does a bastard orphan?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Out of the
Okay,
hole.
Yeah.
right.
So he's doing that, and it's the tense is actually a little different because he's doing it as Aaron Burr, and it's
Oh, okay.
it's an earlier draft. It isn't the final draft of the song.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell, but you see Michelle Obama's face change when she's like, "What the hell is? Look at
Oh,
this!
this is interesting.
Yes, and I freaking love their faces, and so then I spent probably a year trying to piece together different like news stories about the play with the original cast and watch those videos in order so that I could try to watch the play with the original cast
Oh
on
my
YouTube.
God.
Yeah, I went down a bit of a rabbit hole. And then I bought the album and I listened to it a bunch. And then I went and saw it at the Pantages. We both did. And then I saw
yeah.
it and then I saw it in New York with the New York cast, which was actually, in my opinion, and I don't know a lot about, and I love musicals and I love theater, but I don't see it enough. But I thought that the New York cast was better than the LA cast. And then I saw this thing
The
other night.
Pantages might not be the right theater for it, as opposed to the New York. I forget where it was in New York, but it felt like that theater was so much better for that play than the Pantages.
Oh, so gorgeous.
I mean, our seats were way up, right?
Yeah, my seats were kind of far at the Pantages.
Yeah, same.
And I got house seats, amazing house seats in New
Yeah.
York, 6th row center.
Did we have this? We have the same contact, right?
Yeah, I think so. Did you get
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
So we had, okay, so
we had a comic who had a contact. Yes.
it was, and fan of this show, if I remember correctly. Her roommate was worked on the show.
Right.
And so, but I have to say that seeing this original cast doing this production was extraordinary. Just because I think it's the difference between doing it 300 times and doing it 30 times. You know?
Yeah.
Like I have friends who saw it at the Public like a half a dozen times before it went to Broadway.
Wow.
And my friend TJ got her picture taken with Daveed Diggs. I don't want my picture taken with anybody, and I want my picture taken with Daveed Diggs.
Was
Actually,
he Washington?
no, he was Jefferson. I was going to say I actually like
okay.
Christopher Jackson. He was such an amazing Washington man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, so Daveed Diggs was Jefferson?
yeah, and he does
voice
stand up.
is so. Oh, does he?
Or
His singing voice is so distinct. That's great.
oh, and the extras, you got to watch on Disney Plus. There's an extras tab, and I saw there's a 35-minute just Zoom interview with the cast. And when I watched the play, everyone looks vaguely exhausted. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
But it was like the 300th night of them doing this, 8 shows a week.
Who? Okay, the guy that played Burr, Odom. Leslie Odom. So
That's
he
it.
had a really, really good interview in the LA Times about money and making sure he and the original cast were compensated for basically setting the cast, right? Setting, saying, here's how we move, here's the choreography, here's how it's sung. Like, this is a template that we're creating with, the director and the writer, but we're creating it too, and other casts will follow for the rest of eternity. So we should get paid for that,
That's amazing.
Aside from doing 8 shows a week. And he just had this line up, I'm setting it up for my children and my grandchildren. I want you to, check with my great grandchildren, make sure that they're still getting paid from my, from my work. It's like, that's how you get your family on that track,
on that path.
Success track, I guess, where generational wealth, basically. And so he was just saying how it's really important for Broadway actors to ask for that kind of stuff,
Yeah. I think that's fascinating. And then I also finished watching Watchmen this week.
Okay.
Did you hear that?
I did. Is that
The fire? That's 3 blocks away.
What if
And
that
you
was
heard it.
Andy? What if Andy is secretly the neighborhood menace? That would be great.
He does go to all the meetings. He says they're mostly about parking in front of people's houses. people would like people not to park in front of their house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you said you watched the first episode. That's the darkest episode.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that and it's not and it's a sequel to the comic book, and you don't have to have read the comic book, and it's amazing.
Okay, so here's what I'm doing right now. So we're watching with my son. We're just going through anime now, and
Right.
it's I love it, and I love hanging out with him, and it's
Mm-hmm.
something to connect with. So it's great. So we're watching Attack on Titan, which
I
is
saw the first season.
Wow, it's insane.
It's
insane.
wild.
It is.
It's intense.
Right. So season 4 is coming up. We just finished season 3, and then our Black Clover comes back on Tuesday night. So we have a lot set up now. So I have just little teeny bits of time before he comes in and we watch anime at night. So like I don't have an hour. Like I try to squeeze in half hours. I did all of Better Things, Dead to Me. I May Destroy You, which is on HBO, but it's coming out once a week. So but there's 4 episodes out, and it seems like, and maybe it's happening in the U.S. too, but Britain, if you look at the Michaela Cole is the star, the writer, it's all coming from her soul, right? She's the actor, writer. She's the triple threat of this show. And then she's like Phoebe Waller's Bridge. Wait, am I confusing her with a different Phoebe? Fleabag.
Okay. Yeah.
Where it seems like in Britain, they're younger women in their 30s are coming up with shows that are comedy dramas, right? They're funny and they're dramatic and they're all over the place. Fleabag's a little funnier than I May Destroy You so far. But they both have funny moments and dark moments and painful moments. But they're based on it's like they meet with these women and they go, oh, we trust your point of view and it's interesting and you're weird and no one's like you. So here's a TV show. You get 8 episodes and you get to create it. And it's not going to be like any formula that you see on television at all. And I don't know, I haven't caught up with every show that's being done out of the US, but it feels like they're more willing to do that in Britain with women.
I don't know. I never watched. There's that the Crazy Girlfriend
My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Rachel Bloom.
Yeah, and then Two Broke Girls or
no, that was like a Chuck Lorre sitcom. That's
Whitney
like
Cummings.
in the mold.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I think.
But didn't she get to?
Did she do with Chuck Lorre?
I don't know, but
Maybe. I know that was her.
But I thought that it was
did.
her baby though.
But
Wasn't it? But then there's only 2 of them
but
that I
that's
can
like a
think of.
sitcom,
Like I can only think of 2 of them. It's like I don't.
Right.
I don't think anyone's being overwhelmed. I think
We're all happy to undercut American sitcoms here.
No, but I mean, where you feel like they just gave it to the women and said, "You create what you want to create." You know, you don't. There's American shows where you see like 20 network executive hands and people, watering down a joke or whatever, or making, putting in a joke that doesn't really fit, but you could see somebody saying it's funny, right? And these 2 shows really seem to stem from their characters as performers and writers and comedians. I don't think either of them are stand-ups.
Okay.
But it I don't know. It just feels like Britain is trusting young women more.
Could be. I just found out that Margot Robbie is going to be 30 this year.
She's done a lot, right?
Yeah, she has been nominated for 2 Academy Awards.
Well,
and,
that's hard
she
to
was
do.
on Wolf of Wall Street 10 years ago when she was 19. And Bombshell.
Yeah.
And she.
I, Tanya, right? Too, right?
Which one?
And I, Tanya, too, right?
I, Tanya.
Yes.
That's right. She played Tanya Harding. And then,
Jackie, imagine doing so well when you're so young, white, and beautiful. I mean, it's astonishing. And
It is hard.
my hat is off to her.
And different, and she was also in and executive produced that the DC Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
Played Harley Quinn.
She's cool. She's a badass. You know what? She has opportunities and she has the talent to match the opportunities. You know, a lot of other people get these opportunities. They don't have the talent to match
Right,
it.
and some
to take
people
it
don't
someplace
get the
else.
opportunities at all. I mean,
But they're
and
very
it was
talented. Right.
and and when you do get those opportunities, you have to, and especially as a woman, you have to not only just rise to the occasion, you have to knock it out of the park. And it's not enough to just be okay at it, right? Because you're the only woman.
Right.
And you've been told that there's only one spot for a woman. And the whole thing is ridiculous.
I think of another white woman doing that is Reese Witherspoon. And
Back in the day, which would have been
yes.
10 years ago, right?
But now she's executive producing a ton of shit. And also
I think
Elizabeth
Jodie Foster
Banks.
was doing something like that,
I think
right?
she kind of dropped out of stuff like that. Yeah.
Right, but it was 20 years ago.
Right. Now
So-
she's full-time Mel Gibson defense.
Is she?
It's a full-time job. I think so. I don't know. He just fucked up again recently, and then all of her
So did
comments
J.K.
came to light.
Rowling. Yeah.
What is she doubling down? What is she doing? Like, even if you believe that, can you observe how it's harming? Let's just fucking be a business person. Your brand and your reputation and how much people love you. Just shut the fuck up and think it to yourself if you have to. How can you be so obstinate? I mean, that's how you're so obstinate. You think
This rant is exactly the rant I had when I did 200 pages of camping in book 7. So, yeah, I think she lost control of nobody's editing after book 4. There is no editing.
Right, I know. We're going through book 5, and my son is also outraged at her comments, and I think this might be the end of the series.
He doesn't need to finish it. He doesn't need to finish it.
No.
No.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it in the moment. And the thing is she's just like everything, a proof that women are people, and can be dumb and and horrible, and absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. Elon Musk lost his shit again.
He's always been a shithead.
He's a supervillain. What are you gonna do?
I'm so glad more people realize that.